CGM data can feel overwhelming for both clients and dietitians. But in my practice, I use it to simplify decisions, reduce fear, and guide real change. Today, I'll walk you through how I use CGM with my diabetes clients and some real examples. I'm Libby Rothschild, registered dietitian, private practice owner, and business coach. In my virtual practice, I do focus on diabetes care and weight management, and I chose this niche specifically because there's a higher demand for referrals, a growing need for support, and frankly, it felt like the smart business move to make, especially because I'm building my business to sell. So a focused specialty like diabetes not only helps me serve better, but it makes my practice more marketable. I love using technology with the work that I do with clients. I feel like it's a great way to improve my toolbox by using CGM data. So when changes are made and clients are using glucose monitors, it's just a great way to see change on a shorter term scale. Some of the tips I have for using CGM data include looking at patterns in TIR, that's time within range, and not spikes specifically. This is something a lot of my clients come to me and they're worried about spikes, and I try to help us step back and look at overall patterns. So when a client says, I spiked at lunch yesterday or at dinner over the weekend, I try to help them not jump and panic, and I help them zoom out and say, let's look at your 3 to 5 days, or let's look at your week and see how much time are you spent within range overall. And that's called time within range, or TIR, and it tells us a much more clear story than just one spike. So this one particular client was struggling with breakfast spikes, and his overall time within range was still at 75%. And that context, it really helped us adjust his morning meals without restriction or guilt or frustration. So it shifted the conversation from what did you eat wrong to what's the bigger pattern here. Now, the second tip would be to use CGM app to build curiosity and not shame. In my practice, I come with a non-judgmental perspective, and I tell clients that I'm there to co-create with them, co-create goals, co-create a support system, and not foster any fear. Many clients do feel nervous about opening their CGM app. Some of them don't even like to look at the CGM app, for example, like Dexcom, because they're afraid of what they'll see. Right? Just like some people don't like stepping on the scale because they're afraid of what they'll see and they're not just in a mindset to do that right now. I remind them that it's not a grade, and so it's something we can explore together like detectives when they're ready. And one client saw a dip in their afternoon coffee, and so instead of blaming caffeine, which is easy to do, we use that as a starting point to discuss timing and stress and just overall afternoon routine to make some small lifestyle adjustments, and then circle back to see how things are progressing the following week. And this curiosity can really help the client feel more empowered on their journey of diabetes management. And that's taking a client-centered approach, and it builds that long-term trust and change, and it makes my clients want to come back and see me again. The third tip would be to set some micro goals on real graphs. And this is my favorite thing to do. I love goal setting using CGM data. So after reviewing patterns, I might say, what's one thing you would be willing to test this week? I always ask them, what do you want to focus on? What do you see? For example, we might try adding protein to the mid-afternoon snack during a dip. That's just a common issue I've recently addressed with a client. And when the client sees their curve shift later in the week or tweak, then they feel empowered. And then that's where the behavior change is happening. So it's not with the big restrictions, but the small strategic tests that's tied to real data. And this is why I specialize in diabetes. This is my favorite type of counseling. The next tip would be to ask for time within range early, so before a session, and use it as a guide. So if the client is able to share with you some photos or a graph in your portal or email or however you communicate through secure messaging, that can also help so that you both have that information at the beginning of the session, and it can save some time and help everyone keep organized. Right? Like it's just preparing for the session. So I ask that at the beginning of the session or before the session starts, right? Do you know your average time within range this week? And if not, we'll pull it up together using your CGM summary. So time within range shows what percent of the day their glucose stayed between 70 to 180 milligrams per deciliter. So the goal is usually 70 to 80%, 80% really, but it can vary depending on the client's health status. And using the TIR gives us a clinical anchor to set goals without relying on perfection or chasing those individual spikes. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole of perfectionism. My job is really helping the client zoom out. So as a recap, whether you're zooming out to look at trends using the CGM app to reduce shame or setting micro goals based on data like the time within range, I use CGM data to simplify sessions and empower my clients. And it's not just about numbers, right? It's clarity and collaboration, right? Emphasis on collaboration. I really love having that data during a session or before a session. I feel that the best sessions happen when we have some recent data to work with. Inside of the membership that I have, my monthly membership, I do share the exact prompts, scripts, and mock sessions that I use to counsel clients in various disease states so that you can improve your confidence with collaborating with clients, offering patient-centered care, creating goals that don't overwhelm your clients, and most importantly, focusing on retention and referring out when needed, right? If you don't feel qualified or capable of handling that particular client or just isn't a fit, I show you and give you the tools to refer out so that you can not only improve your clinical skills, but ultimately improve your business skills. And that's what my program is there for, is to help you grow your business with confidence. We'll see you next time.